Welcome everyone to the Side Draft Podcast. It is Wednesday. We're not here to review a race. We're here to talk about why fans love their driver. This week we're talking about Aric Almirola. The fans voted for him on Twitter. And here we are talking about why fans love Aric Almirola.
Yes, we really appreciate all the fans that did the voting on Twitter. And they all voted. And the most ones was for Aric Almirola.
Got beaten out. I think it was Martin Truex, Kyle Busch. So fans really wanted to see Aric Almirola, and didn't really get too many comments. Just got 2 this week, but we still want to honor the people that commented and make the most of what we got. But it's nothing against Almirola. It's just we're short.
Yeah, we're pretty sure he's got more fans out there. We just couldn't really get out there and reach to them. Maybe they'll see the video and make some more comments, and we can do an extension of this video.
Yeah, we're still a small podcast, and the only time we can really get like tons of comments is from Facebook groups, and just really couldn't find one. But we're here to talk about these 2 fans' comments, so thank you very much for leaving them. This one is from Austin from Twitter. Says, I liked his background story, and I liked how he stuck with the team. Wasn't very good for almost a decade, and actually was able to get a good ride this year.
Yeah, he drove for the 43 team of Richard Petty, and he really stuck with that team for a long while, and he did pretty decent there. And
he eventually got that team a win through a rain shortened race and strategy. So eventually had a party with the 43 team, moved on to the 10 team, and still carrying Smithfield.
Yeah, powered by bacon.
That's important, right? You gotta have bacon in your life.
Yeah, it's always better with bacon. So it's really good to see him at Stewart Haas and driving the 10 car. And it's really good to see that car real competitive this year.
Yeah, you really get to see Aric's talent. We saw him lead a few laps, almost won the Daytona 500 this year, which would have been big for him. First ride in this car and you win, really proves your talent. And then almost won New Hampshire, just had like issues on a pit stop and had the fastest car at Richmond, which we're going to Richmond pretty soon in a few days. Maybe he'll get that first win then.
Yeah, it's really good to see him back in the playoffs, and maybe it'd be at the end of the year all 4 Stewart Haas teams.
The final 4 powered by bacon. But yeah, that was a great comment. Talking about his background story, where he came from. We had that video on NBC. We really got to get to know more about him, where he came from, and it shows that some fans really like that story.
Yeah, it's great to see him. He come from Cuba and got into racing, and maybe that inspire more fans coming to the sport too.
Hey, maybe it'll inspire more racers.
Yeah,
from Cuba, Mexico, anywhere outside of the U.S. Maybe they want to come to NASCAR. But the last comment is from Lynn 279788. Says, many years ago at a Busch race at the Milwaukee Mile, I saw Aric driving Denny Hamlin's car as Denny was late flying in from Sonoma. Aric had that race won. Denny flew in at the last minute, got in the car and won. But to me, it was Aric who won, a great driver. I am so happy to see him in a great ride.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to get that one opportunity, really show what your talent, and to jump in a car and substitute for Denny Hamlin and to go out there and almost win the race for him is pretty awesome.
Yeah, that could really turn a lot of heads for the fans, teams, sponsors. Say, well, look at this guy. Didn't win the race just because Denny wanted to swap with him, but a lot of talent. Drove around the Milwaukee Mile really well, dominated that race. And, still took the time for Denny Hamlin to, get situated in the car. And Denny went on to win the race. So it shows you how much Aric dominated in that car. And eventually, I think that moment is what got him more teams and sponsors to want to follow him up in the Cup Series.
Yes, and it was a pretty scary moment, in Kansas where he got in that big crash and really didn't know if he's going to get to race again.
Yeah, it's crazy how that happened. It's like, 1 minute it's like, wow, is he never coming back? And now he's in a 10 car and almost winning races, leading laps, and just showing what he's got.
Yeah, it's great to see him getting back in the car and him to get better from that crash. And it was a real scary moment. They had to cut the car. I mean, it's the first time I've ever seen that really happen on the track. So it's really great for him to be back.
Yeah, it showed some great perseverance from that. But that is all the comments that we have this week. Eventually, when we get more people on this podcast, we're going to do like a part 2 series, possibly even get the drivers on. I doubt that, but it'd be cool. But next week, we'll be talking about why the fans love, wait for it, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Wow.
So we're probably going to get like 100 or so maybe from the Facebook groups, but it's going to be interesting to see, the different, fans and how so many different fans have come together to like one driver from, all the way back from 1997, I believe was his rookie year,
yeah,
and up until today as an NBC broadcaster.
Yeah, it's really great because that's always been my favorite driver, and so it'd be interesting to get to talk about him.
Yeah, get to see why the fellow fans love him. So if you're a Dale Jr. fan, go ahead and leave your comment on this video. We may talk about you on our podcast. So hope you all enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.